hour mod, so we will probably end up taking 4 hours then as we attempt to help you acclimate to the system. I'm just exaggerating, who knows. So let me look at your character sheet. A Malkir. Looks like you were built properly, so that's good at least.
Well, I bought the Ultimate license on Thursday and spent the last few days getting all my characters footed.
Looks good. Alright, so allow me to familiarize you players with some things you will need to know. In the top right-hand corner of your screen, there is a button with a small letter I and a silhouette of 3 people. If you click that, it will open the party sheet, and look at that, you can see all of the other party members in your party. Their names, races, classes, ability scores, senses, defenses, and a bar indicating their general hit points. You can take this opportunity to familiarize yourself with the party composition. We have 3 fighters and 1 paladin warlock. So that puts us at 4, 4, 4, 13 divided by 4. So we are average party level 3, which I believe might actually be above. Yes, this is for a second, so we are above, but there are 4 of us, so we are a strong party. So I will be adding more and more powerful monsters. Congratulations for you guys. Oh no, there's something wrong with my thingy. It's broken. I don't know why it would. Curious. Ah, another person has joined us. I don't know why this thing is looking like that. I will be attempting to stream the game here. I will be attempting to stream the game here. Why are you repeating yourself? Stop doing that. Maybe if I put a space here, maybe that will fix it. Let's see. That did not fix it. Made it worse. Oh well, we'll leave that be. Anyway, that is a link repeatedly. Well, if I click on that, will it work now, or is it broken? Yeah, the link will work. I don't know why it's underlining some of it. So anyway, if you click on that link I've just posted in the chat window, it'll take you to the stream. If you're going to view the stream, please mute it. Otherwise, we will experience a horrible, horrible audio feedback loop of destruction and doom. Oh, I am DM Keaton. I will be guiding you on this wondrous adventure through fantasy realm of death instruction for the next 2 to 4 hours. Clyde had just joined us. Let me try to get Clyde to join the TeamSpeak. Delete. Excellent question. In the top right-hand corner of your screen, there is a selection of buttons. One of them looks like an art palette, like a painter's palette. If you click on that, it's its tooltip says colors, and you can click on the various colors around the orb there to change the color of your dice. What else? Ah, one thing everyone should be aware of. The button. Welcome.
Hey.
The button immediately to the left of the party sheet button I indicated earlier, it looks like a pair of crossed swords, opens up the combat tracker. This will be your favorite button because the combat tracker shows you when it's your turn and whose turns come immediately before and after your own. So keep that open for when combat begins. In the bottom right hand corner of your screen you should see an icon that looks like a small tower. That is called the dice tower. Does anyone not see the dice tower? Excellent. The dice tower is where you need to drop secret rolls when I want you to roll something but I don't want you to know the result. I will say drop it in the dice tower please. Otherwise, whenever you make a roll, you will either be double-clicking from your character sheet, which will produce a roll result in the chat window, or you will be dragging and dropping dice into the chat window, which will show us the dice rolls for everything, from everybody, to everybody of anything you've done. If you roll any dice outside the chat window or not on top of the dice tower, it will not show to us, and it will not count, because that would basically just be you rolling. It'd be like you rolling your dice at home, and we can't see that or anything. We like to maintain transparency.
Like a ghost.
Or like good game players. Very sportsmanlike.
That's very ethereal.
Alright, we have added Rylor to our party. He is a fighter 1. That does not change our average party level.
Would it be better if I go from a 4 down to a 3?
If you did, no, it would change nothing.
Okay.
Stick with what you want to play. I think this party will probably survive. This mod is not particularly challenging. Unless you guys, I don't know, make it really challenging with really bad tactics. Like throwing yourselves over cliffs, or dividing up, or who knows. Karlanth is level 4.
Because that never happens.
This is news to me, Karlanth. Your character sheet appears not to be up to date. For some reason, there is something in the...
My character sheet is Barbarian 1 Rogue 3.
Karlanth. Aha. Then who... Ah, sorry. You're right. It was Rylor I was looking at for some reason. So let's see. That makes us 4, 8, 12, 16, 17. So 4. There are 5 of us. So that puts us at very strong, I do believe. Nope. Still strong. Only 67 characters. If we had one more person, we'd be very strong. So you guys are on the cusp of very strong. So I think you'll be able to handle this. For some reason... Okay, there we go. That line there was filling my chat line, and I could not delete it for the life of me. I selected it all and deleted it, and it wouldn't go away. Alright. Are there any further questions? Excellent. Let us begin. So, let us all start this little adventure. You find yourselves near the edge of the ruins of Fort Dalton. If local rumors are true, the ruins are home to worshippers of a forbidden god. You, however, are here in search of bandits. Rumor from far-off Mulmaster is that merchant barges and fisherfolk have been waylaid on the River Lys and the River Dalton near the ruins. For some of you, gold may have been the draw to take on the dangers that these bandits portray. For others, however, the ruins of Fort Dalton are rumored to hold many things of value lost and forgotten. What drew you to stop the bandits? Who is interested in arcane secrets in crumbled towers? And at this point, if you are interested in hunting the ruins for arcane secrets in crumbled towers, please say I, or this one, or your name. What we are doing right here is establishing your reason for being here. Why have you come to the ruins of Fort Dalton? If none of you are interested in arcane secrets, perhaps you are still interested in knowledge, but of a religious bent. Perhaps you seek holy texts in blasted shrines. No? Perhaps you are interested in even deeper, darker secrets, forgotten knowledge in secret places.
That is what Amal is interested in.
Alrighty. Amal and Rylor are interested in forgotten knowledge in secret places. Let me make note of this. Forgotten knowledge. Amal and Rylor. Alrighty. Noted. Now, let's see, let's call that. Apparently, not all of you are knowledge seekers. Perhaps you instead search for a loved one, mentor, or another person of note taken by the bandits? Ah, I see. None of you have no loved ones. So sad. Well, then the rest of you can only be here for one reason. Treasure.
That works.
Fame and glory. Might.
So let's see. It'd be treasure for Daryun, Azad. And who wanted fame and glory?
I'll stick with treasure. Is that?
Alrighty. I mean, you can totally look for fame and glory. I don't know if you're going to find a lot of fame and glory in a dilapidated, abandoned ruin. Who
For
knows?
the adventure.
Maybe the stones will sing your praises. I think you'll have to save that for season 3 when you experience the madness. Alright. Yeah, Daryun, you could be in a committed relationship and that person could be taken from you. But I understand if you don't want to give away your loved one. Oh, with money. Gotcha. Okay. Then you could still take the loved one and say, I have been too soon parted from my money. I must find it. Alright. So,
If Daryun doesn't want his gold, I'll take it.
I think Daryun wants his gold. I mean, he said he's in a committed relationship. He didn't say he was in a committed monogamous relationship.
You can't be monogamous with money.
Alright. So, you all have your reasons for being here, but who are you? Let us proceed. I will name your character. Please introduce your character to us. Tell us what you look like, a little bit about yourself, anything you want to share. Let's go first with Karlanth.
Karlanth is a stocky mountain dwarf. He's very intelligent in nature. He's seemingly always looking out for himself and others.
That is beautiful. I'm sure your companions here will appreciate your oversight. I'm Alkir. What about you?
I'm all here. Sorry, all. I'm a here. Is an elven woman of high descent. She is an orphan and an exile from the elven lands of Cormantor. She is of common birth, but she upholds the haughtiness and inherent belief that half-elves are superior to other elves and the lesser races.
Oh,
This belief is further reinforced by the simple fact that she wields magical power, which she obviously believes the lesser races will never fully comprehend. She harbors a very deep resentment towards those of non-elven birth, especially of the male gender. She isn't one to speak of her past, but when she does, it always seems to be filled with the loathing of men and the non-elven races, as if maybe they are directly responsible for her plight. She never smiles unless it is due to her getting some revenge on her perceived enemies. She is what others would describe as prickly, short-tempered, unapproachable, and a downright bitch. She is short of stature and not particularly attractive. Her lavender eyes are always scanning, her mind always scheming, her mouth always ready to spew forth a rotten litany, her lithe, athletic body always moving, twitching for a fight.
oh goodness. Oh goodness. Let's feel free to roleplay that haughtiness, but try not to go overboard on the racism. There was that article about the Hillsfar thing and racial sensitivity, but I like it. Let's go with
Well, this is elementally racist.
yeah. Well, I mean, you can be from Hillsfar if you want, but obviously you're from Cormanthor. Hey, how's it feel? How's it feel to have lost your homeland like that?
Yeah, it's all the less racism men.
You can blame Netheril. I think it was the fault of the elves personally. Their hubris got the better of them. And we'll end that at that. Let's let Daryun go ahead and introduce his dwarfy self.
If you have a concept about a dwarf who is a scum, the worst of all scum is Varian. So basically, he is a scammer, he's an interloper, he's a troublemaker. So he is a fake doctor at this point. He has got like 19 holy symbols, and he will use any deity that comes to his mind if the situation suits him. And that's it.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Paladin, right? Vengeance?
I haven't decided yet. It's a level 2 paladin, so
Just enough for smiting, but not enough to actually have to swear an oath. It seems just like a...
This was a patronage from Orcus without you knowing yet.
Orcus? Goodness. Oh, I need to check your guys' alignments. This... Okay, let's see. Hey, Darian, your alignment's not listed. Go ahead and fill that out in your character sheet. Let's see. Amalkir's alignment makes sense. And Carlant's alignment. This makes sense too. I'm not, just so you know, you don't have to tell, you don't have to say your alignment, because obviously no one can just tell that, but please fill that in your character sheet so I know, And let's proceed to Azad.
Azad's a tall female human, dark olive skin, black eyes, black hair. She's a guerrilla leader, a freedom fighter. Something like a guerrilla commander. She prefers action to thinking.
Prefers action to thinking. Excellent. Just a moment. I'm going to adjust my speaker settings real quick. It looks like I'm picking up some of your voices. There we go. I think that should fix that. And also, of note, and I don't often get to do this, there is a talking sword on Azad's hip. I wonder if Dawnbringer would introduce herself. Yes, I think she would. And I am Dawnbringer. I spread light in dark places and destroy the creatures that dwell within the murky depths. I look forward to working with you all. And finally, Rylor.
Cool. Rylor is kind of a young kid. Grew up with 3 older brothers that were all a lot stronger than him, but for some reason it never really got him down. Even though they beat him up a lot, he just learned to kind of stick and move and run away from them, and he kind of got a habit of teasing those bigger than him and running away, and eventually he learned how to use a couple of whips, and he used that as his attack mode so he can attack them without getting attacked back. He learned a lot of techniques, like he wasn't actually whipping his brothers, but he definitely learned how to, torment them without getting tormented back. And for some reason, even though he was tormented a lot, he just never lost his happy-go-lucky way about things, and so that's just who he is.
Excellent. I should have done that when I was growing up. Just picked up whips and started whipping my brothers. That would have saved me a lot of trouble.
Yeah, if they were bigger than you, they'd whip away.
That's true. He could.
Then use it on you.
Yeah, my brother would totally just catch it. Anyway, that is our host of characters. We have our reasons for being here, but how are we to get there? Though we have approached the edge of the ruins, it is still a few miles distant. There are 2 primary modes of travel of arriving at Fort Dalton. You can either take the River Lys on a river barge for cheap, or you can take a leisurely stroll along its muddy banks, and you will eventually arrive at the ruins. So at this point, we need to vote river. Vote banks. So, at this point, please look to the chat window and cast your ballot as to whether you would like to arrive at Fort Dalton by taking a stroll along the banks or a barge along the river. It looks like the majority is formed. No one ever wants to take the river. It makes me sad. Anyway, so, your part...
Want to be constricted in a small space with a bunch of filthy, lesser people and men.
Exactly. I suppose that is sound reasoning. So, your party is making its way from the city of Mulmaster toward the nearby ruined Fort Dalton. You have decided to take a stroll along the banks, as some of your party are a little, we'll say, uncomfortable with tight spaces, or the things that lie within those tight spaces. In any event, you will be strolling along the banks. The banks of the River Lys are currently sodden and muddy, as the sky has been pouring forth a drizzle of rain for the past few days, unabated, non-stop. In fact, even now, the sky is overcast with dark gray clouds, and a light drizzle sprinkles down over the surrounding countryside, and you will be making your way through the wet, muddy, sodden path. Da 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 da. Let me open up the map. Let me share the map. Alright. Let me shrink the map so it'll fit on my screen. Boop, 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 boop. Alrighty, I'm gonna put you guys on the map. Ba-ba-da-da-da-ba-ba-da-da. I'm also putting you now in the combat tracker, and you can see yourselves in the lovely combat tracker. It is a lovely, lovely thing. Alright, there's Zod, there's Rylor, there's Amalkir, there's Karlanth, there's Dariun. So what's occurring here is you guys are on a path running alongside the muddy banks of the River Lys. You will be proceeding from east to west, that is, from right to left, so you may wish to take this time now to establish a marching order that suits you. You'll be moving from right to left, so the left is the front. And Amalkir immediately heads to the front because she is so better than all the rest of you, apparently.
Damn straight. Now the question is who speaks Elven? I know the Drow does, but does anybody else?
Oh, I don't think we had a drow. He was just Azad is just a dark-skinned human.
Okay, does anybody else speak Elven?
Zod.
Anybody else?
Elven. Yeah.
Okay, as long as you're not human, but you're demi-human, and because Amal never speaks in common unless she absolutely has to. She speaks Elven.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so she's speaking to herself. Awesome.
So nobody else speaks Elvish?
Elvish is for squares, apparently.
Alrighty then. Anybody else speak Draconic?
You actually want to talk to people? Cute.
She's gonna have to debase herself to speak a filthy common language.
Alrighty. The slimy words roll off your tongue, causing you mental anguish. But it appears to be the only way you can speak with these simpletons.
See, even the name common is in the language. It's highly common.
It's pedestrian.
It's not even that.
Alrighty. You have been walking along this muddy path for, we'll say a few hours now. The rain is making everything quite uncomfortable, particularly for those of you wearing armor, robes, or ordinary clothes. That means everybody. It's uncomfortable for everybody. The air is chill, the air is wet, it's moist, the ground sucks at your boots. It's overall a miserable, miserable time. Uh-huh. Nope, that's not it. Here we go. Just a moment, I am making some preparations. There is absolutely nothing dangerous about to happen, I assure you. You are all well and good, and everything is fine. Pay no attention to the man behind the Iron Curtain. Blah blah blah. Okay.
That's what you said when I got killed in the last game.
Is it? I say a lot of things. Shasha. Alrighty. As you are walking down the river, you have curiously not seen any fellow travelers, though that, I suppose, is not too strange given the weather. But, despite rumors of bandits, you have not encountered any bandits either, despite your hours of travel, and the fact that you are walking right alongside a forest there. It seems like it would be a perfect place to ambush people, and yet, nothing has occurred. However, as you are strolling along the riverbanks, Karlanth, with your perception, you notice some rustling in the reeds growing near the river's edge. What do you do?
Something near the river.
Shoot it.
And
Well,
I'll
how
step off the
obvious
track.
of you.
Hey, I let the party be aware and I step off the track.
As you issue that warning and step away from the road, the reeds suddenly burst as tall, lanky, monstrous creatures begin charging forth. Roll initiative. Let me show you what they look like.
I tried to stealth, I don't know if it worked or not.
I have noted that. I am sharing you now a picture of the very creatures that charge forth from you from the river's edge. They are monstrous. They have
Obviously not.
each bear, well, some of them are female. This is just a generic image, but the
Don't
generic.
let it lick you.
Indeed, each creature has lolling from its mouth an exceptionally long and disgusting-looking tongue. Their hands have abnormally extended fingers ending in wicked-looking claws. They charge forth at you with hungry looks in their eyes and faces. Also, as they approach, you note that their skin appears to be sodden and saggy, and it looks as if they have been flayed alive. Let me reveal them now. Alright. Everyone except Amalkir has rolled initiative. Amalkir, do you know how to roll initiative?
Where do I just throw it on the screen, or?
Go to the main tab of your character sheet, and in the middle of it, there's a box above which says Init. If you double-click on that, or single-click and drag it into the chat window, it will roll initiative for you. Beautiful. Oh no! You just beat my Lacedon. As this creature bursts forth from the brush, Amalkir seizes the initiative. What do you do?
Well, I draw my rapier. And I tell the lesser beings, go fight them, and I will join you after.
Alrighty. You have issued your directive. Is that all you wish to do?
Well, yeah, I've got my shield prepped and my rapier drawn, so on approach, I'll attack.
Excellent. Alright, do you have the combat tracker open?
Yes, I do.
Alright, in the bottom left-hand corner of the combat tracker, there's a little dragon head with a little down-pointing arrow under it. If you click that, it will advance to the next person's turn order. And that would be my lovely, lovely Lacedon, who is going to charge at the nearest creature it sees. Oh, look, there is a tasty-looking dwarf right here. We are going to try to claw the dwarf. And, unfortunately, we miss. But, Dariun, those claws looked rather nasty.
In a relationship right now. I mean,
Can't get my hands on you, eh? Maybe next time. Rylor.
Okay, so I'm not positive, but it looks like he's in range already, right? Well, okay, it says 15 feet on the tracker, so I guess not.
The range of a whip is... wait.
Well, it's 10 feet, but sometimes that's 2 squares.
In this case, you are currently within range.
Alright, so I moved within range.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not good. Okay.
Alright, one whip strikes the creature's flesh. Its skin cracks open with a sickening...
Action, attack again, miss.
you are.
The flaying of this creature has continued. You note that there are many such wounds upon its body, as if this is not the first time it has been dealt such a blow. Dariun, how do you wish to respond to the unwanted sexual harassment?
Armor. I'm stone cold right now. I'm gonna give it a cold shoulder.
Oh no, not the cold shoulder of Agathis. Alright. And Daryun is looking frosty right now. Azad. Alright, Azad charges in and stabs in with Dawnbringer. Dawnbringer lets out a cry. Die, creature of darkness!
Alrighty, man, you got it.
Azad. Just a moment. Okay, yeah, you do have dual wielder. Alright. Good turn. Azad charged in and let off 2 quick stabs, one with a sentient weapon and one with a rapier, which was enough to down that Lacedon. Dawnbringer lets out a cry. Come, creatures of darkness, I shall rend you all. Karlanth, how do you wish to proceed? You are hidden. Alright, Karlanth. The dwarf suddenly pops out of the brush at the side of the road and lets fly a crossbow bolt. Phew! The creature sounds upset. Alright, and Karlanth again tries to hide. This Lacedon. Look at that. There's a tasty looking dwarf who is no longer being assaulted. I think this tasty looking dwarf needs to be assaulted. Claw attack! Oh no! Critical miss!
In line, baby.
That would appear to be the case. Alright, a second nasty looking lady charges up toward Daryun and tries to strike at him. Oh no! Daryun rebuffs another advance! He's impenetrable to their charms. Well, let's see.
The lesser being draws the film.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like this Lacedon has decided to go after tastier looking prey, perhaps one less surrounded by its comrades. It tries to attack Azad with a claw. Ooh, and manages to hit. Let me move this right quick. I'm going to put this over here, and then here comes the damage. As its claws tear into your flesh, it tears a bloody gash across your skin, and you feel an unnatural chill begin to seep into your muscles and bones. However, you shake it off. Whew, that was strange, but nothing bad appears to have come of it. Amalkir.
Okay, Amalkir will cast Firebolt. How do we do that?
Alright, so, if you hold down the control key and left click on either the token of the monster you want to target, the token appearing on the map, or target that monster's name in the combat tracker, okay, you have it targeted. Now, if you go to your character sheet and go to the actions tab of your character sheet and go down to Firebolt, and then click on the little magnifying glass next to the Firebolt entry, you will see the option to, you'll see like a little button that has a sword on it that has the letters ATK next to it for attack. If you click that button, an attack roll will be made.
Okay.
And the attack roll hits. So now click the button that looks like a blood drop and has DMG next to it for damage. As a bolt of fire slams in this creature for maximum fire damage, dropping it like a fly.
For the lesser.
Alright, Amalkir has shown them all how it's done. Rylor, what's up?
Hang on, this one that's nearest me.
You got it. Another sickening crack of skin, flesh breaking. Oh, this other whip strikes it square in the forehead, splitting its face in two. However, the creature weirdly gurgles at you, still animated, still hungry. Daryun. Alright, Daryun lets out a curtain of flame that washes over these creatures, singeing their broken flesh.
But now I got the hot story.
Azad charges in and stabs in with Lightbringer. Die, creature! And then stabs in with a rapier, retracting the radiant blade of the sentient weapon and stabbing in with cold, hard steel.
This guy's weird.
He takes it like a champ. Roll for damage, Zod.
Shouldn't be 2d8.
Oh, looks like Azad is making a menacing attack, which it failed.
Azad, I thought we set up your sunblade for you.
Yeah, I'm doing that now, right?
Well, you're attacking undead.
Yeah, you're attacking undead, so it's 2d8, right?
I didn't even know these weren't dead.
Does Dawnbringer deal more damage?
They're undead.
Dawnbringer does an extra d8 versus undead.
Ooh, excellent.
It's like the Lightbringer +1 mace from LMLP.
Basically. Except it's +2 and has attitude.
Exactly.
Quite decrease in phobia, so
So I'll throw another D8 in for the other attack.
Hmm.
And if I drag that over, will it be damaged by it?
No. Just dragging a d8 on it will not damage it, but if you roll the d8, I will apply the damage. So that's 2 extra damage.
Yeah.
Alrighty. 2 extra
Then
radiant damage.
there is a menacing attack as well.
And it looks like it failed its wisdom save. So,
So I have the effect on me already that's going to do the 1d8, right? When I do the attack, the damage roll?
yeah. Yes, you do.
Oh, cool. It worked.
I don't see anywhere where it says Dawnbringer does extra damage against undead.
It's in the notes.
No, no.
DM guide under Sunblade.
It has all the properties of Sunblade. Is it finesse weapon as well?
Yeah, a Sunblade is a finesse weapon, but... Oh, there it is. Okay. Yes. Alrighty, got it. Karlanth! Karlanth, just a moment. You are... Yes, you are hidden. Alright. Karlanth pops out of the brush again, and phew! Let's fly another crossbow bolt! Which sinks into the creature's flesh, striking it dead. Quite dead. Man, you guys tore that guy to pieces. Or that fight to pieces.
Let's move the light box.
Oh, sorry. There's
Dario is gonna say, hey, but probably these guys carry something. And they look destructive, but let's do it.
Looking over the sodden, broken, charred, slashed corpses, you find only wet, tattered cloth and nothing else. They only wear threadbare, broken, or torn robes. That is all.
Let's move forward.
Alright. Putting that curious, sudden assault aside, the party continues on its way toward the ruins. You will proceed for a few more hours through the muck and the rain, but you will not be accosted any further before you arrive at the ruins of Fort Dalton. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da. Alright.
Check out where they came from.
Oh yeah, prior to continuing on your way, you can try to. You want to head over to the muddy bank and scope it out?
Yeah.
Alright. Walking...
The lesser pig was well in mud.
Alright, you walk through the mud as the haughty elf looks on. Walking over to the banks, the mud is deeper and wetter and sucks at your boots strongly, but you're able to slog your way through the mud and arrive at the location from whence these creatures seem to have originated. Give me a perception check to search through the reeds. Poking through the reeds, you see a few clawed footprints kind of gathered around in a spot surrounded by a ring of tall reeds. It appears they were hiding here, but you see nothing else of note. No tracks leading off, no items, no nothing.
Okay.
By your best estimate, they were simply waiting here to steal the lives of whatever creatures passed by.
Yeah, the ways of the internet are bizarre.
Alrighty. And so you guys eventually arrive at the ruins, as I said before. A dim light is cast over the ruins, which you can see from the crest of a low hill. The ruins are sprawling. They seem to extend for miles ahead of you. However, they are not all that they used to be, it would seem. They are little more than crumbling stone foundations overgrown with plant life. Occasionally you can see, rising above the skyline, the charred frames of buildings that appear to have been burned to the ground in great flames. It is aptly called the ruins of Fort Dalton, it would seem. And you can begin your trek into the ruins, if you so desire. You have a choice here. You can either, I don't know, take look for something in particular if you want to, or just begin randomly wandering through the ruins.
Well, Amalek here will let the cannon fodder walk through first before she walks through.
Yeah, that's just good. That's just good strategy.
As of their station being lower creatures than me.
Exactly. Cannon fodder. Do you want to proceed in any particular direction, or do you just want to wander aimlessly through the ruins, seeking fame, fortune, treasure, and knowledge? Let's put it to a vote, shall we? Vote.
I'll look for something that might actually have money attached to it.
Alright. So, ambling your way through the ruins, looking for some money. I mean, Daryun clearly has some attachments to money. He seems to ooze that kind of desire for coin. Let me roll some random numbers. Ooh, okay. As you are proceeding through the ruins, you think you espy something that could potentially yield some monetary gain. You see what appears to be the ruins of a grand fountain in something of a square, surrounded by several ruined, broken buildings. Let me pull out this map. You find I think there was some read aloud text, wasn't there? Yeah, you find what appears to be a broken fountain, little more than an overgrown pond now, however. Plants and shrubs grow at its edge, and a steady stream of water forms a creek leading from the pond into the ruins. Water struggles out through cracks in the fountain's walls, coming forth from what once appeared to be a fountainhead, but now just looks like featureless, cracked stone. Now,
Are there buildings around? Is there anything in the fountain? In the list right there.
aha, this! Looking into the fountain, you think maybe, perhaps, there may be some money inside, as people are wont to toss coins into fountains, and maybe some long-forgotten coins lie within the bottom of the still waters. Let me share a map with you guys. Map attack! Put you guys around the fountain, and you can arrange yourselves around the fountain as you so desire. Wait a minute, is the grid not turned on again? Stupid, no grid. Let me turn the grid on real quick. Yeah, there's a grid built into the map, but the snapping grid that will snap your tokens into place is not activated.
Oh, okay.
Just adjust this. I can't quite get it to 50. That'll have to do. Okay.
Modern technology is such a wonderful thing.
I know, maybe I can, let's see, I'll shrink it slightly like this, and then poop, 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 pop that over a few times, and then pop this. Oh no, let's go down. Down, 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 and perfect. Wunderbar. It's amazing, it's beautiful. Let me delete these 2 large tokens, and now put you guys on the grid. Oh, beautiful, perfect. You can arrange yourselves around the fountain as you so desire. And you think there may be some coins in this fountain, maybe. Dariun immediately throws himself into the fountain. Coins! Coins! Need coins!
Yep, he is goofy up.
As you reach into the fountain, unfortunately, the ground in the fountain appears to be covered in more mud than money. It is quite unfortunate. But there is something interesting about this mud. It is moving.
Is it good for your skin?
Nope, it is moving. Roll initiative.
Yuck.
Nice initiative, guys.
Just a moment, I need to check something. Da 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 da. I don't have recorded what the default number of creatures there should be. It should be okay. And put them there. And, Dariun, as you sink your greedy, grubby fingers into the mud at the bottom of this fountain, the mud sinks its fingers into you. Has everyone rolled initiative?
Yep.
Alright. Leaping from the mud at the bottom of this fountain, you see an impish creature. It is small, with an overly large head for its little body. It appears to be made entirely of mud, with flapping wings that seem to dissolve behind its body. It bears a mischievous grin upon its misshapen face, and it laughs at you as it balls up a muddy fist and tries to strike you. Oh, and Dariun dodges it like a boss. A second such creature leaps from the bottom of the pond, and instead of balling up a fist, its head swells, becoming abnormally large for its tiny body, and then it slaps its cheeks, spewing forth a stream of mud that heads toward you with alarming speed, Dariun. Haha! And you are not able to dodge aside quickly enough, as your body is coated in this thick, goopy, slimy mud, and you are stuck fast, restrained. Azad, you have the initiative. What do you do? Azad charges forth to the edge of the fountain and stabs in with Lightbringer. Perish, creatures of the murky depths! Lightbringer yells, and Azad stabs in with a rapier. The mud mephit does not look so good. You have torn through its little mud body. However, it has friends. Another mud mephit leaps out of the mud, gazes upon Dariun, points a finger, and laughs at him for being stuck in the mud. Its voice a gurgling, bubbling laughter of madness, craziness, creature. It turns on Karlanth, and similarly its head swells, and it spews forth a stream of mud upon him. He unfortunately is not able to dodge aside in time, and is restrained. Oh, and I forgot to apply the restraint condition to Dariun. You are also restrained. Amalkir, it is not yet your turn, because another mephit, another creature of mud, springs forth from the fountain, and balls up a fist and attempts to strike poor, helpless, restrained Dariun. It punches him. Oh! It slams its fist into the mud, not quite connecting with the dwarf flesh beneath. Amalkir, it is now your turn, and we'll go ahead and take that attack roll you made earlier. It's a fine attack roll.
Jack, you haven't been attacked yet.
What's that?
You haven't actually been hit yet.
Just coated in mud.
Your armor is gone, isn't it?
Armor
Your warlock armor.
Yeah, your armor of Agathis is gone.
is
A
gone.
sufficient amount of time has passed since the last time you cast that. Amalkir, which method are you targeting?
The one that's already injured.
Alrighty, it seems like a fine method to target. Your firebolt blasts into it. Its skin hardens like clay, and it lets out a before it shatters and falls apart in the water of the fountain. And now Malkir has decided that she probably does not want to play in the mud. Understandable.
Only pigs and dwarves dwell there.
And creatures that are made of mud, as another mephit pops out of the fountain. It spews forth a stream of mud at Azad. And Azad, too, is stuck fast. Rylor.
Yeah, bad save. Okay, so I'm gonna move over here. Attack this guy, number 6.
Alright. Rylor charges in behind the mud statue that is Karlanth, and whips around it. Ooh, missing. The dwarf got in your way. Silly dwarf. Oh! The dwarf struggling distracted you, and you couldn't quite hit the creature on the other side. Don't worry, there are more where that came from. As another creature pops out of the fountain and decides, there are 2 mud targets nearby. Odd even. It decides to strike at the... Well, I was about to say the dwarf, but they're both dwarves. So it just decides randomly and strikes at the roguish one. And the roguish dwarf is, goodness, has a very high armor class. What kind of armor are you wearing?
Breastplate.
Breastplate.
Put it wrong.
Perfect. Is it a +1 breastplate?
No.
Dude.
No. I think I coded it wrong. I think it should be 18.
Well, you also have a shield. Let's see. 6. Max 2. 4. I think a breastplate only gives a +5.
Yeah. No, breastplate is +4.
Breastplate is +4? Alright, then that hits.
It's AC 18.
Yes, then that attack hits, and you are punched squarely for a solid 2 bludgeoning damage. Kapow! Dariun Elderheart. Dariun Mud Statue. What do you do?
Darwin is pretty okay with all the money and being stuff, but he doesn't like mud, so can he do a strength check?
This slippy, slidey mud goo, unfortunately, resists any efforts to escape it with strength. Instead, at the end of your turn, you can make a dex save.
Or a dex save?
Yep.
Okay.
At the end of your turn. So, in the meantime, you have your action to do whatever you normally want to do.
So Dariun is going to cast protection from good or evil on himself.
Oh ho ho! Dariun surrounds himself with energies which ward off creatures of
The money.
the other planes.
So he surrounds the money with holy things of it.
What money, Dariun? You found only mud at the bottom of this pond.
Okay, then he's gonna surround himself, and at the end of the turn,
At the end of your turn, make a dex save. Failure. You are still stuck.
I'm stuck.
You are not able to wiggle your way free for now. Karlanth.
Wages.
Karlanth gets mad. The creatures laugh at you as you get mad, surrounded by mud as you are. Oh, and you still manage to stab one of them. He stops laughing at that. And a mighty stab from Karlanth, despite the restraint of the mud, hammers into this creature. It begins laughing again as its body slides around your blade.
And is that enough to get me out?
That is indeed. You are freed from restraint. And that's the end of your turn. The next Mephit.
Lucky 13.
This Mephit is going to try to punch Dariun, who has protection from evil and good, so it does not have advantage to hit him any longer, but the disadvantage, or the advantage imposed by, okay, so the advantage from the restraint cancels out with the disadvantage from the protection from good and evil, and it tries to punch you. Punch attack! Oh, sorry. Let me re-roll that without advantage. Disadvantage.
Yes, please.
That is a miss.
Love it.
The creature lets out a cry as its fist suddenly veers away from your body, as if some other force prevented it from hitting you.
Daddy was gonna cry. Jesus, no.
The creature lets out a string of syllables, and its companions all immediately turn away from Dariun. He is off limits. Azad. Azad strikes out at the Mephit with the Sunblade. It says, "Creature of the depths, your murk will not taint the light!" Ah! Roll for damage. Ooh, a menacing attack.
Did it make its wisdom DC 14 save?
It failed. That makes it frightened, right?
Correct.
Alright, it is frightened. It's so scared of you. It's quivering in front of you. Literally, its body is shaking, sending ripples across its watery, muddy form. Alright, and your rapier stab connects as well. The creature has taken a heavy blow and is quite scared. And Azad is still stuck fast in the slimy mud. Alright, Mud Mephit number 6 attempts to get a good solid punch in on Karlanth. Meh. It lets fly a punch which connects with the roguish barbarian, who takes a solid 2 bludgeoning damage. These guys are killing it. Keep it up, Mud Mephits.
Resisted.
Let's take a look.
Or is that after resist?
It looks like your effect is not set up properly. There's a double colon there for some reason. Let me delete this. Fix that. And then put comma, exclamation point, magic. And then get rid of this double colon here.
Weird, because the effect on my action tab doesn't have that.
And then get rid of this double colon here. And then I will remove that 2 damage and then try to apply the 2 damage to you again and see what happens. It resisted it that time. Alright, it has been fixed. You took a whopping 1 bludgeoning damage. This creature's fist just kind of splattered against your armor, and it looks at you and lets out a sheepish grin. I'm all Kier. Oh, sorry. I'm all Kier. There we go. Ooh, Amal Kier lets out a bolt of lightning which connects with... oh, wait, doesn't necessarily connect. Make sure you're targeting something before you make your attack roll. Who are you trying to target?
I was trying to target Mud Mephit 12.
Mud Mephit 12. Let me just drag this over here. That is a hit against Mud Mephit 12, who takes 6 lightning damage. And a bolt of Emperor Palpatine-style force lightning connects between you and this Mud Mephit, who is dancing around weirdly as energy arcs across its body.
Take that, you pig swine.
Do you speak Primordial?
No.
I do.
Oh, for you speaking Primordial, for you who speak Primordial. Oh, let me try this. Let me see if I have this set up. Wait, who was that said they speak Primordial?
Karlanth.
Karlanth. Let me make sure you have this set up properly. Indeed. And then if I do this, language, primordial, and alrighty.
That's nice.
Alright, Mudmephit 3 is going to strike out against Azad as Daryun is off limits.
Isn't it frightened, number 3?
It is indeed frightened, yes. Oh, so it can't attack you. That is correct. I don't often experience the frightened condition. And it has disadvantage on attack rolls, and so it's going to run away from you because you're scary. Just a moment.
It only lasts until the end of your next turn, I thought.
Yeah. The end of the beginning.
Alright, the creature disengages from you and sinks over here, slurping through the fountain, and just tries to get on the far side of the fountain from the terrifying Azad. Rylor.
Alright, let's see if my whip is better charged this time.
Alrighty.
Yes, it is.
Indeed. Whip connects with mud with a and the creature...
First ever kill.
Is this the first Mudmephit that has died? I don't remember.
No, I mean, it's just my
No,
first
it's the
kill.
second.
Oh, I forgot to do something on the first one. And that would be this. As the Mudmephit dies, it explodes! Sending a shower of mud over... Oh, the two people who are already restrained. So, Karlanth and Daryun, you get a fresh coat of mud over your bodies.
Do I get a save for that? I broke free last time.
Oh, that is true. I forgot you broke free. Here it comes. Just a moment. Na-na-na-na-na. Coming at ya. Karlanth. That is a failure. Here comes your fresh coat of mud. You enjoy that.
There we go.
It's good for the skin. Mudmephit 14 is now going to try to strike Karlanth with a fist. And it connects, dealing a whopping partially resisted, so total of 2 bludgeoning damage. Daryun, you are the next.
I'll be right back. I gotta replace the battery in my mouse. It's dying.
Alrighty. Keep those mice alive.
I think that gives you a -1 to hit.
No, we just skip all your turns. It's even worse. You take only the dodge action on each turn. Daryun. Ooh, in point-blank range, lets out a blast of eldritch energy, which slams into this creature. Daryun, you cannot Divine Smite on range attacks.
I'm doing it melee range. It doesn't happen.
It has to be with a melee weapon.
Oh, okay. Then, actually, did it roll? No, it didn't roll.
Yeah, it looks like it didn't roll it anyway. So, yeah, because it said it has comma melee, so that was built in properly. Good. Alright, so you cast a hex over this creature. He feels cursed a little bit, or hexed, I don't know. And then he gets a good old whopping blast of force damage, and he takes it like a champ. But that also means your protection from evil is gone now.
No. You can attack creatures.
No, I'm saying hex is also concentration. Both protection from evil and hex are concentration.
Yeah, it's a concentration.
Daryun apparently decided it was more important to kill. And I can appreciate that reasoning. See, Karlanth also likes to kill. Stabby stab. And there goes another creature, which explodes, sending a fresh coat of mud over Karlanth and Daryun, who are both restrained this time.
And at the end of my turn, I get a save.
Indeed. You succeeded. You are no longer restrained. Apparently that fresh coat of mud lubricated the pre-existing coat, and you were able to squirm your way out.
How about Darien?
You are still stuck, Dariun.
Oh no, that was the end of my turn.
Yep. Alright, this method looks at Dariun, moves its fist around him, realizes there's no longer an invisible barrier there, and lets off a cackle and a punch. Ha ha! Oh, but it still missed despite the fact that he was stuck. That leaves us returning to Azad now.
So am I free?
Azad, you have broken free. It took the length of your turn, but you broke free. After Azad squirms... No, the saving throw occurs at the end of your turn. If there was something you wanted to do prior to ending your turn, you can do it.
No, there's nothing I want to do prior to the roll.
Alrighty. Azad focused all of her efforts that turn on breaking free, and DDEX2-12 focuses all of his efforts this turn on punching Dariun to death. Fist attack! Go! Voila! Dariun takes 7 bludgeoning damage, and you need to make a concentration save. Dariun. Alright, your hex is still existing. I'm all here.
Okay, so because Witch Bolt is a concentration spell to continue damage,
Uh-huh.
how do I do that?
Just roll damage on the creature again. DDEX2-12. That force lightning keeps up and zaps DDEX.
He didn't have it targeted.
I got it. Zaps DDEX-12 for an additional 2 lightning damage. His body twitches weirdly. He's not quite on the verge of popping yet.
Not yet.
Rylor.
Awesome. Okay.
Mal, do you know how to target by the by?
Yeah, I think I'm all... He was asking if you know how to target. And you do.
I just click on the creature, right?
Control left click. Hold down.
Control left.
Yeah, hold down the control key first. That would be it.
And when you look at the combat tracker, you'll be able to see if you have something targeted or not.
And it says the targets and then a colon, and then you're targeting beneath your name. Like currently you're targeting yourself and a mud method. To de-target somebody, control left click them again. Alrighty. Rylor lets off a flurry of whips against these mud methods. And these mud methods don't like those whips, but there is unfortunately 2 choice looking targets already nearby. This mud method is going to abandon Karlanth and try to strike at Dariun, who is wallowing in their fountain. Yes. Witch Bolt was locked onto number 12.
Yep, just picking it up.
Get punch coming at you, Dariun. Ooh, fails connect.
Huh. Your translation thing didn't work that time.
Oh, I misspelled primordial.
Darien is gonna curse the mud in front of him, and he's gonna try to force cast another thing.
Alrighty, sounds good. Go for it. Alright, a blast of eldritch energy strikes the method. Who takes a whopping 5 damage and is sent hurtling through the air. This is a mud method 14.
Yeah.
Wah! Splat! And he lands on the sidewalk in a goop of mud, which immediately begins reforming into its impish-like form. And Karlanth charges down the sidewalk to strike at the creature. It cowers on the sidewalk, on the cobbles. Oops. Wrong language. Alrighty.
Still wrong language.
Ah, bananas. There we go. Alright, Mud Mephit 13 tries to strike Dariun Elder Heart with its muddy fist. And, again, it misses. Azad, you have recently been freed from your mud bath. How do you wish to proceed? Azad skirts around the fountain's edge and stands upon its ledge and stabs in with Sunblade and Rapier. The creature lets out a cry. Oh no! Azad, there is a lightning bolt arcing all around your body, weirdly moving around your form to strike at the creature on the other side of you.
DM, I didn't make a deck save, so that you need to go ahead.
Yeah, sure, go ahead and do that. Mud Mephit 12. You're still stuck. Mud Mephit 12, who is being zapped by lightning, is pincered between Sunblade and Dariun, is going to try to breathe on Azad! It spins around at you, Azad, and lets forth a spew of mud breath across which lightning arcs. Doesn't really hurt you, and in fact you avoided it entirely. It was a pretty nasty looking breath. Amalkir. Amalkir continues the stream of lightning energy in this creature, who continues dancing weirdly like a marionette at the end of your lightning. It glares at you with hate in its goopy eyes. Rylor.
Cool. I will go to...
The creature lets out a cry, and then its fellow suck on the sidewalk gathers up its full power, and then attempts to breathe on Karlanth. Blah! Karlanth is able to dodge aside, however, just in the nick of time. A little splash of mud on your boots. Dariun.
Dariun is gonna curse and hit the same method with a force blast.
The one on the sidewalk?
Yes.
Alrighty. Missed. Karlanth. And Dariun, you are still restrained. Karlanth, however, is faring a little better than his fellow dwarf, and manages to stab this creature to death, who explodes, showering mud all over you. Make a dex save. Oh, but you're able to dodge aside. Like a champ. But two of these poor, sodden creatures remain. And they are going to do their utmost to kill this warlock. Here comes a fist. It misses. He grumbles in primordial. Azad. Azad stabs in with Dawnbringer. and dawn is brought. Before you move, the creature explodes, showering mud all over you. Make a dex save. You were able to avoid it. Dawnbringer lets out a sigh of relief. Whew! I did not want to be coated by mud. Alright, you stab with your offhand rapier, dealing a light 6 piercing damage. And then you decide to go in for the kill, it would seem. With a surge of energy, stabbing into the creature with Dawnbringer, dealing a whopping 9 damage. And that brings us to Amal Sarial Amakir. But one of these measly, muddy creatures remains, Amal. Ooh, and it takes a witch bolt to the face for a solid 9 lightning damage. Rylor.
Right.
The creature's poor form is gooping and sloughing away. It looks at you with pleading in its eyes. And then its face explodes. It doesn't really matter about being restrained because this combat is over.
Let's take a short rest.
The fountain's recorded.
Why do we need to take a short rest? Come on.
Yeah, I need a shower.
You're in the mountain.
In the pigsty right now. Roll around in it. You have been.
Hey, somebody give me that.
At the end of this combat, I would like to award inspiration to Dariun and to Amalkir. Good job, guys.
Also, somebody should finish actually getting the little bit of gold that we had seen in the fountain before we forget.
Oh yeah.
Nay, it was a trick of the light, but a sparkle upon the still waters. In fact, scooping through the mud here, you find no wealth is to be found whatsoever.
Darion is gonna replace.
Lowly creatures run by sparkle.
Darion is gonna replace his holy symbol from Timora with the holy symbol of Tempest. I'm gonna curse Timora for not giving me money at this point.
Oh ho ho, you've cursed Timora, have you? Well then,
Happy Joaquin.
well, it depends. He's cursing the goddess of luck for not bringing him luck. And you know what that does, Dariun? That incurs the wrath of her twin, Besmara. No. Whoa.
I have a holy symbol.
What is her name? I suddenly forgot the name of the goddess of misfortune. Bashaba!
Ill matter.
No, Bashaba is the goddess of ill fate, ill luck. She's the opposite of good luck. Yeah. Just note that, Dariun, you uttered a curse against Timora. Bad things. So, do you guys want to try and take a short rest here?
I'll keep looking.
Keep looking through what?
Whatever else.
Oh, you want to keep going through the ruins?
Yeah, I'd like to keep pushing forward.
Alrighty.
You can remove the rage thing from me.
I shall remove it now. Karlanth calms down. Feels a little better about himself.
Yeah, for whatever reason, some add-on you have, it might be the remove effect.
Yeah.
Throwing in extra colons.
Oh, that's curious. Let me try turning that off, see if that helps. Da-da-da. May not help. Who knows? In any event, let's put it to a vote. Press on. If you wish to take a short rest, double-click on your circle. If you wish to press on, single-click. Alright, the majority of the party would like to press on, it would seem. All of the party has decided to press on. So, through the ruins you go. You wander past this dirty, broken fountain that was filled with mischievous creatures, and continue walking through the tumbled ruins of Fort Dalton. You pass by crumbling stone foundations, overgrown with plant life, and for the most part, this appears to be the majority of Fort Dalton. However, you do eventually happen upon Ooh.
Because of the buildings of interest. Or whatever.
Yes, you do eventually happen upon another building of interest. Standing before you, or slanting before you, is a structure that must once have been magnificent. A temple, it would seem, though its marbled facade has sunken partially into the mud and stands cockeyed upon the surface of the ground. So you are facing a marble-columned temple, it would seem. It appears to rise slightly higher than the ruins around it. It might bear investigation, if you so desire.
Hopefully somebody else does better than this.
Yes, I will take a gander at that place.
Alright, Carlanth steps in, looking around. If you want to look around, make an investigation check. Or, yeah, an investigation check. Carlanth and Amalkir start looking around the ruins. It appears to be a large, single, rectangular room with niches around the walls that must once have, that seem to have once held shrines of various gods. Dariun, you instantly recognize many of these symbols based on the holy symbols you are carrying upon your person. There is a broken scale that could have been a symbol of Kelemvor or Joaquin. There is a symbol of there's a symbol of Timora. There a symbol of even Bahamut, the dragon god. There are gods of all ethnicities and religions, though for the most part good or neutral type deities. But their shrines have been broken down with time or looting, it would seem. However, Dariun, as you look around, you do find buried under a small pile of rubble a small box. It is apparently carved entirely of stone and fitted with metal hinges.
Darion calls upon all the gods that's in front of him, and he apologizes that he couldn't protect any of their belongings, and he vows that he will protect all their belongings, and he goes towards the box.
Protecting their belongings, eh? I see how this is. Alright, you protect their belongings. Looking inside the box, you find a set of bone coins engraved with runes. Each of the coins themselves look like they'd be rather valuable.
I'm sure this will not reach the wrong hands, my god. He takes over and performs all the stuff for the gods.
Alright, while he's doing that, Rylor, Amalkir, and Carlanth also poked around the ruins but didn't find anything else of interest. It looks like anything of value has long since been taken from this place.
I will avenge this.
As you are poking through the ruins, however, Carlanth, though you find no valuables, you do find something else of interest. You see, poking its head above a low stone wall outside the building, a few yards away, a creature. It looks like an elf with its long, pointed ears and a mane of thick black hair. However, this creature is unique among any elves you have seen before because its skin is blue.
Aha, a noble elf. A noble creature.
As soon as your eyes connect with its, it ducks its head beneath the low stone wall, disappearing from sight.
Oh my god, I'm another one of them freaking elves.
Aha, we are the finest of creatures on this planet.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Well, some elves are finer than others, but we are still better than the average common
Yeah,
lesser
I
creature.
started ignoring the elf again, just cause.
You start ignoring? You mean you haven't been ignoring her this whole time?
Well, obviously she just responded to me, so I lapsed. But yes, I will ignore the elf and since I found nothing of interest here, I'll look to see if there's other buildings that might have roots.
As you begin leaving this building to look for further treasure, a group of creatures approaches you openly. A group of elves, in surprisingly little clothing, approach you from the ruins. These elves are different from many other elves you have seen. Their skin's a pale blue, their hair is dark blue, and their hands seem webbed. They have strange flaps of skin on their neck that pulse as they breathe. 201, they all look somewhat uncomfortable in their skin. Instead of furs, feathers, and wood, these elves wear jewelry made of shells and colorful coral. Instead of long swords and bows, they carry short swords and harpoons. A tall, regal-looking female elf leading this trio addresses you. In common, she says, "I am Musana, follower of Estitia. We come in peace and common purpose."
In
Yeah,
Elvish,
talk
Amal
together
responds,
waiting for the elf.
Amal responds to her in Elvish.
I'll walk back.
Musana, follower of Ishtia Shia. I welcome you, and we also come in peace and common purpose.
She responds to you in Elvish. "Excellent. We have witnessed your combat with the creatures along the river and the creatures within the fountain, and we believe that you are skilled warriors who could help us with something that troubles us."
And what would trouble you?
Just a moment. While this conversation is occurring, Carlanth, what did you say you were doing?
I'm ignoring the elves and going to another building. The elves are just full of themselves today.
Alright, Carlanth starts walking to another building. And the elves continue speaking. However, the elf will switch back to common as she addresses the rest of the group. And she says, "Please, hear us. Our prince, Ulatha, has been taken by a foul cult, and we believe they have taken him to these ruins. We, however, are not enough to rescue him, but we believe, with your assistance, we could save our prince. Please, are you willing to help us?"
I am willing to help you, regardless of him being a prince. He's an elf. I will help you.
Just like helping people.
That is wonderful. And what about your friends here, the dwarf and this human?
They are of lesser races, and they must do what they need to do. But mostly, they're intelligent enough to follow.
Well, if they are willing to help us, then please follow us. We have established a camp where we can speak more of what transpires within these blasted ruins.
Lead on.
Alrighty.
Another building.
Alright. And Carlanth strikes off on his own into the ruins. Just a moment. I need to take a restroom break. Let's take a quick 5-minute break. Get some water and some restroomness. We'll be back at 35 minutes past the hour.
I'm actually liking this program.
You liking what?
The Fantasy Grounds.
Is this your first time playing with it?
Yeah, it's my first time playing with it. I used to use Roll D20,
supposedly there are those that do roll 20 really well. I have not encountered one yet.
Yeah, no, I find it to be really bandwidth heavy when you have large parties.
Clive, have you ever played with, played in one of Cap's games, Thompson's
No, because he's
No, I
running,
haven't.
as far as I know, just Prince of the Apocalypse,
Uh-huh.
and he's starting off lobby level,
Uh-huh.
and he has a standing group. So
So-
this standing group doesn't mean that, people can just join in.
His games are excellent. Dalton. You just send him your character sheet a week earlier. He will make all the macros, and it's the amount of work he puts in is incredible. He really has and sometimes Kyle wants to also runs good role-play games.
I did roll 20 back when, before I encountered Fantasy Ground. It was okay. I like Fantasy Ground better, but like I said, if there's somebody that really knows the roll 20 stuff, for instance Tom Christie, then perhaps, I don't know.
Kyle's games too. Hey, quick question, guys. I just reached Paladin 2 on this character. Quick question. When I take a short rest, I get 2 first level spell slots back, right? I'm a Paladin 2, Warlock 2.
When you take a short rest, you get your Warlock slots back.
Yeah, so that's 2 first level slots, right?
Yeah.
And that's,
So,
sure.
Correct, but your paladins, you need a long rest.
Yeah, I understand.
and when you multi-class as a warlock, you don't get the multi-class extra spell slots. It's like when you multi-class with the warlock, you get like no spell slots.
You
Well,
get
you
It's
get,
like
you get
separate
your
thing.
pack magic separate from your spell slots.
Yeah, pack magic spell slots are separate. That's what I heard.
yeah.
So
It-
you get like 2 levels of paladin spell slots. You get your 2 level of warlock spell slots, but you don't have 4 level multi-class spell slots.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but because he's multi-classed as a paladin, his smites can use any spell slot.
Yeah.
So smites on short rests.
You have 4 available, and 2 of those recharge on a short rest.
Correct, and he also has his oath spell slots too.
No, Oath doesn't get spell slots.
No,
Yeah.
I'm only level 2, so I don't have oath.
And the oath doesn't give new spell slots, it just gives spells added to your list.
Right.
That are
Prepared
known
spells.
today. Yeah.
It's an oath.
So before I went Paladin 2, I actually want to redraw the character into Warlock 1 and Paladin 3. I'm kind of playing it right now, but probably the next time I'll redraw into Warlock 1 and Paladin 3.
Keep in mind, I think that gets rid of patience. If I remember right.
Yeah, I do have invocations. It's a trade-off between this and just having one level of Warlock.
But if you have one level of Warlock, you only have 1 spell slot, and then you have no invocations. I think you really need to take 2 levels if you want to dip into Warlock to get the...
Also, what invocations do you have?
Right now I have taken Repelling Blast and Agnostic Blast. But I want to for the flavor of the character, I want to change it into Many Faces, and the other one, the one that I looked into, the one which he gives Silent Image. That way.
Misty Visions, or Visions of a Misty Realm, or something like that. No.
Misty Visions, is when you get up to the 5th level,
Yeah.
but he can cast Silent Image at will, so that gives him some, viewpoint where he can hide.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Alright, it is now 35 minutes past the hour. Let's do a quick roll call. Oop, that's not right. Vote. Roll call. There we go. Check the box if you are present. Excellent. Everyone is here except whoever said you're not here. Alright. We are all here. Let us proceed. Karlamp strikes off on his own into the ruins. The rest of you follow these strange blue elves to their...
Everybody else follow the elves besides the elf?
Everyone followed the elves except Karlamp.
Only the elf was speaking. Only the pissed off elf that only speaks Elven was saying we're gonna follow you.
Yes, exactly.
Rylor said that he would go as well, and then the other two, Daryun and Blue Pea, or and Azad, stood mute.
Oh, actually, we are going because I smell money.
Yeah.
It smells funny.
I mean, think about it. We are rescuing a prince. Whatever we can actually grab, whatever these guys have, whatever they do. I mean,
Yeah, what is a prince worth? A prince's ransom, obviously.
But it's a man, so it's only half as worthy.
oh, you can do the math.
Harsh.
Yes, because unlike you lesser races, I'm intelligent enough to do that now.
Alrighty. Just real quick, Karlamp, you will find another building. Where to go? You find, Karlamp, an interesting building. It appears to be the charred frame of a gazebo. It kind of sticks out from the surrounding stuff as it appears to have been, like the area around it is entirely burned down and blackened, as if it was struck by a mighty flame.
I will examine some building.
Alright, give me an investigation check. You find
Not very good.
absolutely nothing except blackened mud and dirt. And while you're doing that, switching over to the balance of the party, the elves lead you into a ruin that, unlike many of the other structures within Fort Dalton, still has something of a roof. As they lead you into this ruin, you see, tied up in one of the corners, appears to be a human. He is wearing simple traveler's clothes. His hands, feet, and mouth are bound or gagged, and he looks at you pleadingly and begins squirming violently. The blue elves turn to you and say, "This is one of the cultists who resides within the ruins. We captured him, but he has not been forthcoming with information. Perhaps you can get something out of him."
Of course, Daryun jumps on his body and starts going through his belongings. Where is the prince? Tell us. He's not listening to his answers.
Okay. You begin searching through his person. You find nothing. His pockets are empty. He's not wearing a backpack or any satchels or anything. Just the clothes on his back.
Yeah, Daryun says, I can't do this.
The blue elf addresses you. We believe we have ascertained that the cult has set up its camp within the ruins of what appears to be a bathhouse. However, at all attempts to enter, we have been rebuffed. We were able to capture this one, but he has spoken no truth and continues to contend that he is merely a traveler, though we know he is a member of the foul cult. She goes on to tell you that she believes the cult has been transforming captives into foul creatures, Lacedons, like those that attacked you on the riverside. We need to stop this ritual, but we know not how many in number these cultists are, or what powers they have to bear. That is why we would like to gather some information from this one, if you can.
We will attempt our best to get this information from this worthless creature.
Alright, how do you want to do that?
Well, I'm not going to touch him.
Darion is gonna try to intimidate him.
He's...
To actually persuade him that you better tell the truth. You know, I can slip you a silver or two, you know, just to start the truth.
Alright, do you want to remove his gag so he can talk?
Yes, a bit.
Alright, when you remove his gag, he says, "Please, you have to help me. These elves are crazy, and they're weird. Have you seen their skin? They're blue. They captured me. They've done all manner of horrible things to me. Please, you have to save me."
We have to rescue him. Sorry, there is no money. There is no incentive. But since it's risky, so where are you? Where is the Lacedon production plan? Tell us about it. How many cultists have been? I will give you some silver and rescue from these elves. So, all the
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about rituals or Lacedons. I'm just a treasure hunter.
Me too. Cool. So you know the deal. He puts a couple of silver pieces in front of him and says, "Okay, here is the deal. Tell us everything about it. You go free." Or else he puts them all in front of him and says, "Different story."
I'm just a member of a group studying the history of Fort Dalton and looking for buried treasure and knowledge. I mean, we're camped out in the old bathhouse, like the elf said, but we're certainly not members of any cult or anything.
Amal reaches down and slaps him across the face.
Ah! Why would you do that?
Tell me the truth.
I am telling the truth. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I am a treasure hunter. I mean, I can tell you things about the ruins. There's a fountain, like, in the middle of the city. There's...
Stop lying in your filthy tongue. Tell me everything you know.
That's all I know. I swear.
How many people did you find?
There's just a few of us.
What is a few?
Maybe half a dozen or so.
You can't be any more specific than that? Your feeble mind is not able to give me a round number?
Well, I mean, I've been subjected to a lot in the past few hours, and I mean, you just slapped me. That kind of rattled my brain a little bit.
Well, you know, I could skewer you.
Please don't do that.
So exactly what have you found in your bathhouse?
Just a few odds and ends, some trinkets. Nothing to write home about. Shelavasa steps forward and says, "This man is lying. We know he is a member of the cult. I know not how he is able to withstand such pressures as we have put upon him, but these cultists appear to be fearless. They are well trained, it would seem. Perhaps this is a waste of time. Perhaps we must simply make for the bathhouse and encounter what we can. The ritual must be stopped."
Yeah, we can use him as a bait and a scapegoat. Let's tie him up and make him walk in front of us.
Please don't do this. I'm just a treasure hunter. There's no reason to do this.
We are going treasure hunt.
Fine. If you'll take me back to my companions, maybe then we can sort this all out.
So do you have companions?
Yeah, I said as much.
And
Where
how
are you?
many?
About half a dozen or so.
Once
Ooh.
again, your feeble mind can't give me enough of a number of just
a few dozen or so.
I'm sorry, it's all a blur. I'm feeling a little dizzy.
Anybody else? Let this guy, gag this guy and move.
Alright, you gag him and start moving him around. Karlanth, right around this time, you can either continue wandering through the ruins or meet up with the group.
I'm back to the group.
Alright, Karlanth wanders back in, having not found anything else of interest, but at least he did not get distracted by these weird elves. The elves, Musana turns to you and says, "Perhaps that is tactical use of our prisoner to bring him before us, but I fear that he will alert his companions to our presence." He says, I won't say anything, just please take me back to my people.
Are we talking about going into... So where are we going?
The bathhouse. I believe the bathhouse is where they appear to have set up their base of operations, and where they are conducting their foul rituals.
What rituals are they doing?
Ah, yes, you were not here for my explanation. The cultists are engaged in some dark ritual in service to Ohydra. They are creating Lacedons, ghoulish abominations of the waves, by transforming living prisoners into those monstrosities. We must stop the ritual now before any more are lost, and hopefully before anything ill becomes of Prince Ulatha. So, are we prepared to head to the ruins? Or the bathhouse?
Yes, but of course.
Alright. You begin making... Just a moment. You begin making your way through the ruins toward the bathhouse. We...
Captain, you have like
It's a short rest
two
before the big
different
battle.
smites on you right now.
If you would like to rest, this is as good a time as any.
I
Yeah.
thought your prince was in danger of becoming undead.
He is, but we know not the timetable for this ritual, as this cultist has not been forthcoming. And while I would like to hurry,
So then,
I understand if you are weary from your travels.
then maybe it's not suggested that we take a short rest. Time is of the essence.
It is a concern, but I would not wish you to push yourselves beyond your limits.
Oh, I had yet to reach my limit.
I'll take a short rest. Why not? If they don't care about it, then why should I?
Alright,
Oh, it's down to the deciding vote. Use the laugh.
Oh, there.
very well. If you wish to rest here, please do so. But as soon as you recuperate your strength, we must rescue Prince Ulatha.
Ah, the weakness that surrounds the lesser races. But I'll take back my spell I used.
No. You don't want to rest. Don't rest. It's okay.
As soon as you are ready, please follow me.
Well, if the rest of them are ready,
But one person remains. There's a vote in the chat window. Alright, everyone is ready, and the party makes its way through the ruins toward the bathhouse. Mwahahaha.
Not gonna deal.
Healings for squares. Dariun, if you wish to take a short rest, now is the time. There you go. Alright. Short rest taken. Making your way through the ruins. You pass through the ruins, and you start approaching the River Lys. About a stone's throw away from the River Lys, you see a building that is surprisingly intact. It appears to be the most intact building you have seen of any so far. It is a squat, wide, long marble building with a marble column facade. The ceiling appears to be only about 10 feet high. The face is about like 40 feet long, about 40 feet wide, and then the building is rectangular and appears to extend some depth to the back. As you approach, the prisoner you have bound before you. Did you guys gag him? Did you re-gag him?
Yes, we did.
Alright. As you approach, he lets out a loud and you see a figure dart from behind one of the columns through one of the double doors on the front of the building. And the prisoner turns to you with a smug look in his eyes.
Give chase immediately,
Alrighty.
so they don't have time to set up anything. If he's running in, then right on his heels.
Bursting through the double doors, you enter a room that... I think I have a map of this. Na 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 na. Da na da na. Just a moment while I resize the map. Oh no, I don't have a map of this. Alright, you burst into a room that is roughly square in nature, about 30 feet on a side, and it appears to be partitioned by curtains, and you see sleeping bags lying all over the floor with various items all around. And you also see a person in a dark blue robe sprinting across the room for a set of double doors on the far side. Roll initiative. Na 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 na. Okay, add one cultist and one last down. So that means 3 cultists and 2 last downs. And alright, looks good. Boom. Alright, I'm probably gonna get a little laggy here because this is there's a lot of people. Alright, let's close this. Close this. Move this over. And close this. And pull up this map. And... oh, excellent. Okay. Alright. There's no map for this, as there's just a single cultist. He is charging across the room, trying to get to a set of double doors on the far side. Azad, you have the initiative. What do you do? There are no tokens to target, and this is just theater of the mind at the moment.
I'll run after him and slice and dice.
Alright, you charge after the cultist. You close in on him and go in for the kill. Just make an attack roll, and then if it hit, I'll tell you whether it hit. Alright, that hit this poor cultist. Alright, and he is struck dead, falling to the ground in a heap.
Well, that's one less bag of bones.
Now,
What attacking?
Anyone have to speak to the dead?
who knows, you just killed the stranger who was running away from you.
I know, seriously.
The elves, however, say, "Quickly, the cultists may be alerted to our presence. We must enter the chamber on the far side."
Yes, we must to get this prince.
Alrighty. heading toward... just a moment.
That's the dead body.
Do what to the dead body?
Overlook it.
Dash it.
Stash it? Okay. Oops, sorry. Wrong token. Dun-dun-dun. Zod. Karlanth. Amalkir. Dariun. And Rylor. Alright. Where'd it go? Alright. Moving across the room. Oh, I should also put the elves out there too. Moving across the room. There's a set of double doors at the far end, beyond which you can hear the sound of a storm. You hear the sounds of much water striking against what sounds like tiles. Shh! And you also hear a low chanting. And Masana says, "Quickly! Enter the chamber!"
I don't trust anybody here. I'm just pointing this out. Do I see anything in this chamber? Or are the doors closed?
The doors are currently closed.
Then I will ready an action, in essence. When the doors open, if I see enemies that are enemy-ish, I will shoot them.
Hey, where'd my token go?
Whose token?
Amal?
Looks like someone was moving it.
Oh, okay.
Alright, who's opening the doors? Amal. Wait,
Please.
who's moving Amal around?
It's not me.
I'm gonna move them all back. There you go. Alright. Sorry, who was opening the doors?
Karlak has a ready action.
Okay. And what was your ready action?
Opening the doors. To shoot
Gotcha.
if I see something that is apparently an enemy.
Gotcha.
Amal will pull out her staff of command,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for somebody to open the doors.
Musana gestures to one of her elves. He gathers himself at the door, puts his hand on it, and looks back at you, and holds out 3 fingers, and he retracts them one by one, counting off. And then he pushes open the door, and the sound of churning water nearly drowns out the chanting and crying that come from inside this room. Inside, the eastern ceiling is collapsed, allowing wind, rain, and lightning to be seen and felt from inside. The room is mostly filled by a half-empty pool, with a narrow walkway surrounding it. The pool is deeper in the center and shallower at each end. Put these guys there. 2 prisoners are bound and tied together at the far end of the pool, sitting in water several inches deep, being menaced by a handful of cultists wielding tridents. Let me show them. In the center of the pool, an unnatural maelstrom grabs at the robes of a half-elf who stands waist-deep in the water. Chanting in a primordial language, hands plunged into the water, the priest seems enraptured as the maelstrom pulses with preternatural light. The priest's eyes snap up to meet yours as he finishes his profane prayer. "Child of Ohydra, rise and perform your bonded duty." With that, he points toward you, and out of the water rises a waterlogged human with pale, leaky skin. The creature shambles toward you. Roll initiative. And Karlanth, go ahead and do your ready to action.
Is he surprised?
He is not. Alright, you pop him a good one with your crossbow. How dare you interrupt the ritual? Servants of all Hydra, kill them! Alrighty. At the top of the round, we have Aquatic Elf number 6, who steps into the doorway and lets fly an arrow at... Oh, sorry, a harpoon at this Lacedon. It misses, but he draws a second from a sheath on his back and lets fly another miss. Alright, that failure of an elf is done with his turn. Rylor, you are up.
Cool.
This chamber is booming with lightning and swirling rains. It is a stark contrast to the light drizzle that was prevalent when you entered the building. Alright, Rylor steps forward and lets off a whip against one of these Lacedons. A whip and then two, creating two deep cracks in its soggy flesh. Cultist number 14 holds a trident and is stabbing menacing a human bound and gagged into the water, forcing him down beneath its surface. You think this person is likely to begin drowning soon. Robed figures with heavy cowls drawn over their features continue chanting all around the room. Oh no, ma.
Okay, I'm gonna use one of the powers from my staff of command, Disarm Persons, and I'm gonna cast it on Karsev the Drowner.
Okay.
And it's DC 15.
Charisma save. Whoops. Charisma save. He succeeded. Your foul magics have no place here. This is Hydra's domain.
Crap.
Alrighty. Cultist number 19 begins drowning his victim. Two humans, or better said, two spurts of bubbles begin showing from the far side of the pool. The chanting continues. The second aquatic elf draws his harpoons and begins charging into the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He leaps into the pool and begins closing the distance between him and the chanting cultist. He draws his harpoons and throws at one of the robed figures, missing once and twice. Karlanth! Karlanth maneuvers into a more advantageous position and lets fly a crossbow. Karlanth, when did you make a stealth roll last turn?
Basically total cover, but if you'd like.
We don't. So if you peep around, you immediately cease to have total cover. Stupid chat window. Go down. Alright, you're hidden. Sure. 14 damage to Karsev the Drowner. He's not looking so hot. 2 crossbow bolts stick out of vital positions on his body, and he gasps.
Yeah, if you guys want to take him down now, that'd be good.
Azad.
Are any of them undead?
Yes, the two sodden figures standing before the half-elf priest are clearly creatures of undeath.
Like the ones we encountered on the river.
Yep. They look very similar.
Not the Lacedons.
Lacedons are undead.
Lacedons are undead ghouls.
They're like ghouls, but they're water ghouls.
And you have the guy that's controlling them right behind them. That's wounded.
That's true, but Lightbringer instead says, "Quickly, Azad, we must destroy these creatures of the depths. Bring my light to bear!" And Lightbringer's radiant blade shines forth, but the ghoul manages to dodge aside. But the rapier does manage to sink into its sodden flesh. You done this? Oh, combat superiority. What you doing?
I've already applied the damage, so.
Yeah, are there any combat maneuvers you can do after you've already rolled damage?
I'm not sure. Alright, never mind.
Alrighty. Following Azad, Musana steps forth and says, "Quickly, my friends! We must end the ritual! Target those who are chanting!" And she will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 step up here and cast a Sacred Flame against one of these guys, who will take enough radiant damage to kill him. He drops in a burst of blue light as Astitia's wrath washes over him. The remaining cultists pick up their cant and their volume to make up for their lost chanter. The ritual seems to be growing to a crescendo. Lacedon number 6 lashes out with its claws against this human who would dare to strike it. Oh, but it missed.
Repost.
Alrighty. And Dawnbringer lets out a cry of joy. "Yes, Azad!" Whoosh! And in a flash of light, the creature is struck dead.
Nice roll, Azad. Awesome. And it's undead, right?
Yep. Dawnbringer shall always have the last word. Except this chanter who continues chanting. Ah, da, 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 da.
DM, does this have another DM4?
Does Riposte do what?
Yeah. Yeah, it's another 1d8.
But it's dead anyway.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
Alright, this Lacedon climbs out of the pool and tries to sink its claws into Azad here. Oh, but it missed. Dariun.
Kill the name.
What's that like?
Kill the name.
No, don't kill him. He's your best friend. He would never hurt you.
Kill the guy who set the ghouls on us.
No, because a guy that prays to somebody with a holy symbol wearing armor has never caused harm to anybody else, right?
No, he's just a simple priest. Alright, Dariun lets out a curtain of flames from his outstretched hands, and Karsev's face blisters and burns, and he lets out a cry, "Ah!" and then falls into the pool face down. His body begins to be drawn in by the maelstrom swirling at the center of the pool, and
No, don't go.
he disappears into the maelstrom. Though the water appears shallow, his body completely vanishes from sight in the swirling vortex at the center of this pool. The cultists continue their chanting despite the loss of their leader. The ritual must be completed. Is he... Boop. Boop. Just a moment. There's a cultist I was missing. Here we go. Put him here, put him here, put him here, put him here, put him here. Alright. This cultist, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stands protectively in front of his, the two chanters on the eastern side. And we are up at the top of the second round. The aquatic elf number 1 steps forward and tries to stab this Lacedon with his short sword. Stabby stab. That's a hit. Stabby stab. He gets in one solid hit, but misses with the second one. Rylor.
Excellent. Especially have to face somebody in actual combat.
And it faces you. Its face is a hideous mush, its tongue lolling out of its distended jaw. You smack it once with your whip, and it goes down. Wow! Alright, the other two cultists on the far side continue drowning their poor victims. The chanters continue chanting, Amalkir! What do you do? Alright, Amalkir dashes across the distance as fast as she possibly can. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. This aquatic elf sees that cultist in front of those two chanters and is not getting closer. He's just going to keep throwing harpoons. Harpoon! Miss. Harpoon! Miss. Man, this guy sucks. He, however, is going to get up behind Amalkir and he says in Elvish, I stand with you, cousin. Karlanth!
As you should.
Well, you don't have to be so haughty about it. Karlanth, where's your stealth roll? Because just because you're behind a wall does not mean you're automatically hidden. Alright, let's see. You are hidden, though. None of these guys have nearly... they all have very bad passive perceptions. Alright, Karlanth, let's fly a crossbow bolt from an unseen location. And drops a cultist dead in a single strike, a crossbow bolt protruding from his forehead. A human bursts out of the water, gasping for air. Azad.
What sort of terrain is going through the water?
Difficult.
Alright, I'll action surge to dash.
Alright. Azad leaps into the pool and begins charging across the distance with all the might she can muster. The maelstrom tugs at her as she passes by, but she does not step into it, and is not pulled away as the priest was. You draw up. There is a human drowning in the water near you, a cultist jabbing him in. You stab in with Dawnbringer, and the cultist drops like a sack of potatoes. Musana offers a prayer to Astitia to smite this fool who is smitten with radiant energy and is blasted to smithereens. Dariun. Shh. Dariun stands there and lets the ritual happen. I like your attitude, Dariun. Ho ho, that's a miss. Alright. This cultist charges up to Amalkir and says, in Hydra's name, before slashing out with his scimitar. Woo! And Amalkir barely dodges aside. This aquatic elf charges over and begins letting fly his harpoons against the chanters. Fly harpoon. Finally a hit. Dropping one. Critically missing with another. After that, Rylor. The chanting is as loud as it was when you first entered this room, but only from 3 voices, though the storm within this chamber continues unabated.
There and ready the action to swing at somebody that's friendly if they get in range.
Alrighty, Amalkir, what do you do? Malkir steps around this cultist, who says, "Where are you going?" Ooh, Arms of Hadar. Dark tendrils of energy reach out and strike the cultist and the ritualist and Aquatic Elf 9.
Oops.
It's okay. I'm sure he'd be fine. Let's go ahead and drag that on top of the ritualist. Aquatic Elf 9. Can you drop saves on Ritualist 2 and Aquatic Elf 9, please?
Okay, how am I?
On your character sheet, near the spell, what's the Arms of Hadar?
Oh, I get to roll the save?
No. Where's Arms of Hadar on your character sheet? Wait, how do you have Arms of Hadar? Do you have the...
It's under my Eldritch Knight spell list.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't think it is. Oh, I think I know why. In Fantasy Grounds,
Because I can take any spell that is of the evocation or abjuration spell
on the wizard spell list.
on the wizard spell list.
Yeah,
Arms of Hadar is Conjuration, and it's Warlock.
yeah.
Oh, that's Warlock. Okay.
So,
And I can't do Hellish Rebuke either.
no.
Nor Armor of Agathis.
No, those are all Warlock spells.
Okay, so we will change that then. That will be Ice Knife instead.
That is a beautiful spell. Since you are in melee, you will be attacking with disadvantage.
Okay, I'll use my inspiration.
Alrighty, so you will be attacking normally. A blade of ice forms in your hand, and you let fly against the cultist right in front of you. It stabs into him painfully, and then it explodes. So, what you need to do here is target yourself, Aquatic Elf 9, and Cultist 33.
Okay.
And then you need to click on the save button under Ice Knife on your actions tab of your character sheet. It's the, yeah, there you go. And now click the damage button.
That would be the 2d6.
Yeah, click the damage button next to the 2d6, and it should only apply the damage to, ooh, for some reason, okay. It should apply it to, okay, Ritualist 2 would not have been hit. Where's Ritualist 2? Ritualist 2 is fine. It was, the explosion would have gotten you, but you succeeded on your save, so you avoided it. And then, the Aquatic Elf succeeded on his save, so he shouldn't have taken cold damage. He's good. Where'd he go? There he is. He's good. And then,
I need to remove those 3 spells and choose 3 others.
and the Cultist 33 did fail his save, so he took that cold damage. Alright, and then he drops with a blade of ice sticking out of his chest and an explosion of ice shards in his face. Alrighty, Aquatic Elf number 9 just managed to avoid your blow, and he says, "Careful, cousin." He comes up to this ritualist and stabs in with his harpoon, missing.
Party stop.
Stabs in again, hits, and that drops a ritualist. And at this point, only 2 chanters remain, and they each have 1 hit point. So you guys will mop them up. Alright, clearing out the remaining 2 cultists. Musana looks at the prisoners, and she says, "These are humans! Humans! Where is Prince Ulatha?" The humans look very disconcerted and confused and don't know what she's talking about. And she begins shaking them. "Tell me where Prince Ulatha is!" In the meantime, the maelstrom continues raging in the center of the pool, swirling down in a vortex.
But how are we supposed to stop that?
She looks at the maelstrom and she'll make a check. She says, I have no idea what is transpiring here. Maybe
Neither do I.
you can make an Arcana check.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Alrighty. You have something of an idea of what is transpiring here. Certainly, that vortex in the middle of the pool is magical in origin, and by the fact that the priest disappeared within, you think it may be some. It may provide some kind of transportation.
I jump in.
All right. Does anyone else follow?
Ryler will follow.
Alright, Musana says, I know not what transpires, but I shall follow your lead. And she dives in as well, along with her 2 elves.
Darian gets in.
Alright.
We might as well kill ourselves together.
You should follow my lead.
Oh, Karlanth. Alright, just a moment. You dive into the maelstrom. Come on, go away. The map won't close. The map does not want to go away. There you go. Pull up the new map. Alright. You are swept down the dark corridor of rushing water. Oh, sorry. As you leap into the maelstrom, you expect your feet to touch bottom, but... Oh, here it is. You jump into the maelstrom, expecting to hit the bottom of the pool, but you do not. Instead, you find yourself momentarily suspended in an amorphous bubble of water. Beyond the bubble you are in, you can see that you are in a cavern with a waterfall, although the water is not falling as much as it is floating down. A small, glowing fish swims near you, radiating a pale light. There are other water globules here, ranging anywhere in size from a small drop to 10 feet across, and they undulate as they bob lazily through the air. In the center of the cave is a perfect sphere of water, suspended in mid-air, glowing with a greenish-blue light. And one moment while I arrange you guys in this bubble. In the bubble of water, the water, the water, in the bubble of water. The bubble, Karlanth, Azad, Musana, and Dariun. Alright, let's move this around. Put the map here. Close this. Open this. Movement distracts you from the vision. You see a female elf with pale skin, blackish green hair, and green eyes which have a phosphorescent glow. The elf is in the pool near a small piece of dry land. Next to her is another elf. This one has skin that is a pale blue with blue hair, but is bound tightly by leather straps, rendering him unable to move. One moment. Okay. Put these guys out. Here we go. And... there's the woman you see across the room on the map now. And there is what appears to be an elf very much like your companions here, tied up, bound in leather straps in the water next to her. You are currently suspended in a bubble of water, like you are effectively underwater. How do you wish to proceed?
I try to swim my way out of it.
Alright, you swim your way toward the edge of the bubble. It is spherical and hovers mere inches above the ground, so you're able to swim your way out and deposit yourself on the gravelly shore. As
Move 30 feet.
okay, the aquatic elves come with you, and as you approach the sphere in the middle of the room, the green-haired, dark and green-skinned elf on the far side says, "Ah, visitors! Please, come closer that we may speak." But Musana says quietly to you, "Do not trust this woman. She is a Marl, a creature of the dark depths, and not to be trusted."
And it will die.
Do you wish to engage hostile actions?
Do we have the prince?
As you get closer, Musana says,
No, not yet.
"That man in the water beside her, that is Prince Ulatha! Quickly! We must rescue him!"
Now we do.
Alright, roll initiative.
Right? Rylor's not really a humongous fan of barging forth around him, so here and ready in action to attack anything that I see.
Alrighty. The aquatic elves step forward, well, kinda 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One charges across the ground and steps into the water and draws his harpoon and says, "Die, Marl!" Woo! He lets fly a critical hit. And let's fly another. And the Marl is struck by 2 harpoons. She lets out a cry of pain. "Ah! You enter my domain and dare strike me?" Another elf comes forward and says, "Yes, indeed we do." Actually, what is the range on a harpoon? Oh, that's long range. Disadvantage. Miss. Ooh, so actually not a critical hit. But it is a hit. Let's put the hit there. Ta-da! There we go. Alright. Musana says, "My friends, I shall guide your strikes. Quickly, we must destroy this witch before she is able to work her foul magics." And she lets fly a bolt of radiant energy, which strikes the Marl for 18 radiant damage, and the creature begins sparkling with glowing blue lights. The next attack against her has advantage to do so. However, it is now her turn. And she says,
Another thing that sparkles.
and she says, "You will suffer for this." And she gestures toward the perfect sphere of water that is mere feet to your right. And she balls her fist and makes a yanking motion. As she does, gazing into the sphere, you see that though it is a sphere of water, you cannot see to the other side. In fact, gazing into it, it appears to be an endless ocean. But a speck begins to form within its center and rapidly approaches you, as if something were swimming toward you, as indeed something is. A creature, monstrous, serpentine, piscine, and almost like an ogre, emerges from the sphere, brandishing clawed hands, massive fanged mouth, and a wicked-looking harpoon.
Where's my sort of ogre decapitation when I need it?
Indeed. And a second one pops out of the sphere immediately following, pincering around you.
Oh, that bitch.
Mwahaha! And then the woman immediately begins twiddling her fingers, and her form begins to waver and shimmer as if she were made of water. And then she dissolves into mist.
That's a lot happening in one round.
That is a lot of stuff happening in one round. And she reforms in a pool to the south of her previous position. Azad.
Is all the terrain the same?
So there's like gravelly dirt, kind of loose, wet soil at your feet. It's not muddy, it's not difficult terrain, but anything that is blue is water and it's difficult terrain to move through.
So the water, the blue I'm in, is that difficult terrain?
It is. You are in a bubble of water that is hovering above the air. Or hovering in the air above the ground by a few inches. Alright. Azad swims out of the bubble, bursting forth onto the soil, and you can now hear the sounds of combat in full. Previously, in your watery bubble, they were reaching you as mere muffled, but you can see that battle is fully enjoined.
I'll plot my longbow and let it out.
Alrighty. Give it a go. The arrow arcs across the distance, and despite the fact that her form wavered and blurred, you managed to strike flesh with a thud. She takes it like a champ, and she needs to make a concentration save. What-a? Which she succeeds. Amalkir. Alright, Amalkir, from your position, you cannot see her, because there's a sphere of water between you and she.
Oh, alright.
Or between you and her. Alright? If you move around this creature, he is going to make an opportunity attack against you.
Okay, so I have to stay in contact with that one to not get the attack of opportunity, correct?
Yes. Also, you cannot walk through the sphere of water. This sphere of water is completely impenetrable to you. As you approach it, actually, this is the first time I've actually had anyone actually try to move through it. As you try to move through it, the water rebuffs you, pulsing back, pushing you out of it.
Okay, so I can't see through it, I can't shoot through it. Or move through it.
Indeed.
Okay, so... The water that's on the other side, that's still regular water, or is that another sphere?
All these blue circles are bubbles of water that are floating in the air at various heights, and if you approach one, I can tell you what height it is above the ground. The water with the light reflections on it is on the ground, and the dirt is on the ground. This bubble of water in the middle is the only one that you cannot possibly see through, because when you gaze into it, it just looks like an endless sea. Now you can see Shelavasa.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll the attack roll.
Just a moment. Miro 16. Yep, you're good to go. And that hits her.
That hits her?
Mm-hmm.
Was that a 20?
Oh, wait, just a moment. She has... Yes, there it is. Alright, as your chromatic orb... and I'll even take your higher roll, but it doesn't matter, because as your chromatic orb, as your ball of energy hurtles across the distance toward her, she throws up a shield, an arcane shield, between you and her, and your chromatic orb bursts harmlessly against it.
Damn you.
Curse you for invading the realm of Ohydra! You shall all perish here, drowning beneath the waves of her might.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
You shall have nothing to say soon.
Alright, real quick, can I attack Narrow 14 because he came in range of me? That was my held action. Or readied action, I mean.
Certainly. Wapow! Alrighty. He took it. The marrow is whipped. Alright, Karlanth.
I stepped there.
Alrighty.
Am I hiding? Can I see her because of the center sphere?
You can just barely see her, yeah.
How about there?
You can no longer see her. Alright, you try to hide from Shelabasa. The sphere provides you some good cover, it would seem. Something about an endless ocean between you and someone else is really good cover.
Apparently.
And then you creep over around the sphere. She does not appear to notice you. That's a hit.
Oh, that's a hit with the shield?
Yes, it is. It breaks through the wall of force between you and her, shattering with a It strikes her, and she lets out a cough of blood. And she says, "Kill them, my minions," and dies. Her body lies motionless on the surface of the pool to which she teleported. Blood. Alright. Well, hiding would have been your cunning action.
True.
Dariun! Dariun swims out of the bubble. The witch has been killed, but these two massive creatures are still menacing your companions. However, you are completely useless, you money-grubbing dwarf. Alright, Marrow number 14. Let's see. Marrow number 14 lashes out with its claws against the nearby elf, striking him for 8 slashing damage, and then attempts to get a bite of elf flesh, and he does. It's tasty. That elf is rent asunder by the massive jaws of this creature. Musana lets out a cry. No! The second marrow. Can't decide who looks tastier. It thinks that a Malkir looks tastier. A Malkir, it turns to you, holding in its hands a wicked-looking harpoon with which it tries to transfix you. Oh, but you dodge aside. As you do, it tries to snap off a bite against you. Oh, and you managed to move aside of that as well. Congratulations.
Haha, the liveness and agility of an elf.
And slinking out of the sphere comes a third of these creatures, the final minion summoned by the dying breath of the Water Witch. It slithers over, closing the distance, and attempts to stab at this squirmy, lithe elf. It tries to rend you with its claws. And I believe that hits, sinking in painfully for 11 damage. And holding you in its claws, it brings you close to its massive jaw. It looks like it could easily snap your head off. But you snap your head back in time so as not to be devoured.
Cool.
Rylor. Rylor lets off a whip against this creature. A duo of punishing slashes tear into its scaly flesh. It lets out a hissing growl. The aquatic elf swims toward you. He says, "I stand with you." He draws his short sword, stabs out at this creature, critically missing. Oh my gosh, I think that's the third critical miss I've rolled with these guys. And then a 2! Oh my gosh, they're so incompetent! Musana says, "Fear not, my friends. The blessings of Estitia are with us." And she begins chanting, and a hemisphere of glowing blue light gathers round her. Whoops. And within this sphere, several glowing little fish begin swarming around. However, these fish have sharp teeth, and they swarm over the two marrows, biting into them, dealing some respectable radiant damage. Azad!
The biting fish aren't going to eat me, are they?
No! She says, "Fear not! These creatures know only the enemies of Estistia!"
Alright, I move over here, I drop my longbow, I draw my two swords.
And Dawnbringer's light flares brightly. "These creatures must perish. They are abominations, meant to be rent by my holy blade."
Are they undead?
No. They're still monstrous, though. And Lightbringer loves killing monsters, especially those that dwell in the dark. And these creatures live in the darkest depths of the murky seas. Alright, Dawnbringer and Rapier work together to deal respectable damage to this creature. Amalkir.
Okay, here we go with color spray.
Woo! Color spray!
How do I cast that?
Just roll 60-10.
Okay, so how do I roll 60?
If you right-click on the D10, there should be the option to select,
Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, and
yeah,
1.
select 5, and then right-click once.
And then right-click once?
Yeah, and you should be holding 60-10 in your hand. Alright, 38 hit points worth of creature. Each creature affected by the spell is blinded until a spell ends. So, let's see what is nearest you. Are you point...
It's 15-foot cone, so it'll catch both of them.
Alright, Marrow 13 and 1. Let's see, Marrow 13 is the closest one to the origin of the cone.
Yeah. And it goes on.
However, he has enough hit points to not be affected. However, Marrow 1 suddenly has blinding bright lights in his eyes, and it begins thrashing about angrily. He's blinded.
He's blinded but not stunned?
Where does it say stunned?
Oh wow, color spray is not as good as the last edition one.
Nope, just blinding.
Just blinding. Okay.
However, it's blinding without a save, which is pretty nice. So,
yeah.
Marrow 1 is blinded. Beautiful. Alright. Karlanth. Karlanth gets mad.
Have to fix the double colons.
Alrighty then. Goodbye, colon. Goodbye, colon.
Yeah, it's still showing double colons.
Goodbye, colon. Alright, I believe I've gotten rid of all the colons.
It actually still looks to pretty much all be doubled.
Oh, that's true. That's weird.
Okay, so how do you determine how many rounds it lasts?
How many rounds color spray lasts?
Yeah.
I don't remember the spell. I hardly ever see people use color spray.
I hardly play Wizards.
Marrow 13 isn't blind, is it?
No, just Marrow 1. It looks like... Oh, it's blind for 1 round.
1 round, okay.
Alright, Karlanth walks up and tries to stab the blind Marrow with his rapier. Unfortunately, he misses. Dariun!
He gets advantage on it, too.
He did. Dariun, did you pass your turn? Nope, Eldritch Blast. Another miss! The blind Marrow is thrashing around so madly, you're not able to hit it. Alright, as Marrow 14 begins his turn, he tries to kill this aquatic elf. He says, "Come here, aquatic elf." Tries to claw it. Claw, claw. Claw. There we go. And then gives him a good old bite. which kills that aquatic elf. And Musana lets out a cry, "No! My people!" Marrow number 1 begins his turn in a Spiritual Guardians, and so he must make a wisdom save as divine fish begin washing over him. Ooh, and they tear him to shreds. Marrow number 13 begins his turn in a Spiritual Guardians and must make a wisdom save. He succeeds, taking only half radiant damage as fish begin tearing into him. However, he still has the go of it. He...
You might want to remove the blind effect from him before he attacks.
Yeah. Marrow 13 draws his harpoon and lunges at Amalkir, stabbing in for a painful 13 damage, and then attempts to bite and manages to get a hit in. Youch! And Amalkir goes down in a bloody mess. Rylor.
Ryler cries out, "I'm all here!" And then he goes back about his business. He's a total one-trick pony at this point.
1 whip, 2 whip.
He does one thing, and he does it sort of marginally well.
Alrighty.
Marginally well.
Musana says, "I will see none more perish." She moves over to Amalkir's side, and she reaches down, offering a supplication to Astitia to restore this poor creature. Just a moment, I need to fix something. And you regain 8 plus 3. For some reason, wisdom is never applied properly. 23. There we go. Alright, Azad! Dawnbringer says, "What are you doing, Azad? We must destroy these creatures!" Stabby stab. Ooh, it failed. The creature begins shuddering and hissing. It's as scary as it is scared. Amalkir, you have been returned to consciousness. You find yourself slumped in the water with the blue elf laying her hands upon you. You stand up and immediately launch a chromatic orb. You have disadvantage to do so, so roll one more time. You launch an orb of energy point blank into this creature's face. He takes the full blast of chromatic damage.
Take that,
Karlamp. That's a hit. Your rapier digs into its scaly flesh. And with typical roguish finesse, punctures a vital organ, and the creature lets out a sudden and then falls to the ground dead. And Karlamp immediately moves on to the next target. The dealer of death has not done yet. Daryun! Daryun steps into the hemisphere of glowing radiant energy and lets out a blast of eldritch energy, which smacks against the creature's scales, dealing a whopping 15 damage as scales begin to curdle and rot near the area with the force of the hex.
Use the force.
The creature looks at the nearest thing in front of it and tries to stab it with a harpoon. Oh, but misses. So it reaches down with its massive head and tries to get a good old bite. However, Karlamp was able to dodge aside of that as well. And Rylor, the one-trick pony, continues his one trick with aplomb. And with a good 1-2 whip, the final creature falls
Booyah.
dead. As the final creature falls dead, Musana is going to drop her spell. And she begins rushing over toward the unconscious elf in the water. She draws him out, and she says, "Prince Ulatha!" She draws him onto the shore and begins casting prayers over him. "Please, Estitia, save this man." And he awakens. "Musana, is that you? Who are these people?"
I am Amal, and I have agreed to come save you.
"It is true, Prince Ulatha. These people have helped save you. Though many of your subjects died, these people remain strong in the face of the evil of Hydra." And Musana says, "Well," or Ulatha says, I thank you, but please, we must be gone from here. With the death of Shelavasa, this water node will soon collapse." And Musana says, Of course. I will begin making preparations to transport us from here immediately." What do the rest of you want to do in the meantime?
Where did the body of the priest that we killed go?
Yep.
The body is sitting in the pool of water immediately to Amal's south.
Okay, I will go investigate that body.
Alright, looking over that body.
Greyhawking everything immediately.
I don't know what greyhawking means.
Greyhawk means you take everything that's not nailed down.
Alrighty, well then,
It's a living Greyhawk.
here's what happens. You guys will loot the body, and I'll tell you what the loot was later. And the ground will begin shaking. The water hovering in the air will begin rippling, and in fact start falling apart, sinking down to the ground. And Musana will continue chanting, and then she'll finish her incantation, and she will have you all leap into the pool near her, and when you do, you will emerge back in the bathhouse with Prince Ulatha and all of your treasure in tow. And that was one heck of a bath. And that concludes this adventure, Dark Rites, at Fort Dalton. And I will distribute all the wealth and rewards and handle mopping up the rest of this encounter. So, let me put this parcel in here. And then, so let's see, on Musana, you found a large purse containing about 80 gold pieces worth of coins, and I'll distribute all this stuff later, I'm just telling you what you found. An amulet made of polished coral engraved with the symbol of the crushing wave cult, a dagger with a wavy blade, and a sharkskin wrapped coral handle. There's also a silver sextant, water-resistant paper and ink inside a waterproof scroll that contains a scroll of absorb elements and a scroll of augury. In the bathhouse, you will find a wooden wand that is simply a mundane arcane focus. It's not a magic wand. Blocks of incense, a silver tankard, a healer's kit with 4 uses remaining, and about 52 gold pieces scattered throughout the chamber. Musana and Ulatha will thank you for your assistance, and they will say that they must return to their home in the Moonsea. But if you should ever find yourself beneath the waves of the Moonsea, come calling upon Prince Ulatha, as you have his favor. Alrighty, let's see. Does anyone want, or who wants the scroll of augury?
It's a cleric type, right?
It is a cleric spell.
Maul's not going to use that.
Alrighty. So if no one wants it, you can just leave it there. But does anyone want the scroll of absorb elements?
Rylo would like guidance plan on being an Eldritch Knight.
It's a great archetype.
Alrighty. Does anyone want any of the other items I listed in particular?
Money.
Yeah, otherwise we'll just sell it all for money.
Besides gold.
Darion would like to have the wooden wand.
Alrighty. Darion, if you want the wand, it is a wooden wand tipped with coral. If you want it, you will simply...
Is it sellable?
It is sellable, yes.
Okay, then don't want it.
Alright, just sell everything?
What is that? Just an arcane focus?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just an arcane focus.
And
okay.
did no one else wanted the scroll of absorb?
No, I did not.
Okay, cool.
Alrighty, I'm selling everything now. And now I am distributing wealth. Alright, looks like everyone got 45 gold pieces, 2 platinum pieces, 10 copper pieces, and 5 silver pieces.
That's funny.
And you can convert that into gold for your character sheets, for your adventure logs. Also, additionally, everyone gets... let's see. Experience. Everyone gets 300 experience points. So let me type that in the chat window. 300 XP. Everyone earns 1 renown with their factions. And everyone earns... Ooh, this is interesting. Though this is a half-length module, you earn 10 downtime days. According to this adventure, you actually earn 10 downtime days, and there's a particular reason for that. It's because you may want to spend those downtime days performing your quests. So, you came to the ruins of Fort Dalton in search of particular things, and now that the ruins have been cleared of the cults within, it is possible to try to continue those particular things you wanted to do while you were here. So, Amal and Rylor were looking for forgotten knowledge. We'll pull up the story so far. Fort Dalton was once known as a place of learning and knowledge in centuries past. Perhaps you seek the secrets of a particular smith, a book of codes by an ancient harper, or some other piece of esoteric knowledge. Regardless of what you seek, the entire fort is little more than a pile of rubble. As you find the location you sought, you realize it will take some time to excavate what lies beneath the detritus. So, you can spend 10 downtime days to find and read a rare tome containing secret and forgotten knowledge. If you spend these 10 downtime days, you will gain a charm, essentially, granting you advantage to any skill check used against a member of the Cult of the Crushing Wave or their allies 1 time.
Rylo will pass.
Oh,
Scroll is good enough.
alrighty. What about Amal? Do you wish to delve into the ruins for the secret and forgotten knowledge that lies within?
And it did what again?
If you spend 10 downtime days, you gain the opportunity to, at 1 point in the future, gain advantage on any skill check used against a member of the Cult of the Crushing Wave or their allies.
Yeah, no.
Alrighty. Now, for those of you seeking treasure, you can spend 10 downtime days to roll on the Ancient Treasure table. Actually, you can spend up to 30 downtime days, adding the number of downtime days you spent to your result. So if you click on the little dragon icon there in the chat window, it will open up the Ancient Treasure table, and there's a button that looks like a d20, and next to that is like a silhouette of 2 dice, and next to that is a little field that has a number in it. Change that number to the number of downtime days you wish to spend, minimum 1, I suppose, and then that will determine what treasure you find. So,
Wow, that's impressive.
You
want to spend 1 downtime day?
Yeah, but it's not changing for me.
Okay, then let me do it for you.
It'll be... Yeah, there we go.
Alright. Oh, you got it? Okay. Alright, let's see. Daryun spent an entire month looking for treasure and found some pretty nice stuff. A lockbox containing, and I'll roll the d6, 40 gold pieces and a potion of healing. Karlanth, however, hit the mother lode and found 160 gold pieces worth of mixed gems.
Nice.
Azad, do you wish to search for treasure?
Nothing.
Alrighty. Then, with that, you have all concluded your individual missions within Fort Dalton. You found adventure, wealth, and ruin. But the ruins of Fort Dalton continue to stand, perhaps holding hidden things and dangers yet unknown to this day.
Thanks, Keaton. It was a lot of fun.
Was there a magic item in this one?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. When you greyhawked it, you found Karseth, the Drowner's corpse, lying under that bubble of water in which you first emerged, and he had on his arm a round shield decorated with images of eyes that occasionally blinked when you looked at them. The item will be identified as a sentinel shield. I have its description here. This oblong shield has an obvious eye motif with several eyes on its surface that occasionally blink. While holding the shield, you have advantage on initiative rolls and wisdom perception checks. If you want the shield and have 0 magic items, roll a d20. The highest number gets it.
Who has magic items already?
That would be Azad and Amalkir, and I believe that's all. It looks.
Karlanth is the only roller.
So Karlanth is the only roller. Nobody else wants to roll for it. Does that mean that those of us that already have magic items can also roll for it too?
Nope, because Karlanth, due to the fact that he has fewer magic items, has priority.
Well, then he doesn't need to roll. He gets it automatically.
Yeah, I just say the rolling thing so that we don't have a bunch of people saying like, yeah, I do want it and I want it. That way we can it's easier to keep track of. So if he's the only one who rolls, he gets the Sentinel Shield. Enjoy it, Karlanth. Let me distribute it to your character.
Alright, thanks guys, I'm out.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, this was fun.
Too
I
late.
have to fix my local character anyways.
Keaton, I haven't seen you doing a lot of gameplay lately. Are you going to be doing them again?
Maybe. I just happen to have some time, but I'm still in the middle of the fall semester. One.
Oh, another student. I know how you feel.
A few more things before you go. For your log sheets, here's the adventure name and my name and DCI number, and I will also be storing your characters on a shared drive so that you don't have to rebuild your character after this. Unless, of course, if you want to. But any gains you've made or changes you made to your character during this adventure will be kept on a shared drive. And I thank you all for coming. Have a good day.
Okay, Keaton, so how do we access the drive?
Click on that link
Yeah.
that's in, and that should take you right to it.
And that will automatically update the local character sheet that I have?
No. It will lead you to a file, and you can download the file with your character's name, and put that file, or you can import that file using the Manage Characters function of Fantasy Grounds.
User disconnected from your
More specifically, typing /import char in order to bring it in so it doesn't contaminate any of the others.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it has a problem where it like messes with other characters when you use the character selections import tool.
Okay, so if I just open the file and then look what's changed to it and then just make the changes myself to the character sheet without importing it is okay in and of itself, right?
Yeah. I will also leave my server up for a few hours. I have all of the books, and you can work on your characters using the stuff.
Yeah, I got the ultimate license with the core pack, so.
Alrighty. I am going to head out now. Thank you all for coming.
All right, thank you.
Good day.